internet's out. I'm going to have a fist fight with Xfinity. It's ridiculous. As much as we pay and like service does this crap, no. Nope, I'm not having it. I will be in touch with them like very, very soon to have some words with those folks at Xfinity. It's ridiculous. We have like 2 gig internet, but like the best I can get is like 40 some megs or 50 megs, maybe up to 100 on a good day. Hey, Krista, welcome. Catching the second take because my internet, hardline internet, decided to just, meh, I'm not going to work. It's for donkey lips. Red donkey lips. That's it. Red donkey lips. Cheese. Oh, and I get it fixed. And that would be my neighbor. My boy Vaughn is having to work on his truck today. And, well, when you get there, tell Martin we said, hey, drive safe. Yeah, Vaughn's working on his truck over at his dad's place, and Haley's like, hey, can I make you an old fashioned today? I want to smoke an old fashioned. I've been dying to try it. I'm like, yeah, kiddo, whatever. It's cool. Yeah, I'll be down for a smoked old fashioned. Sure. Well, she gets back from over it, taking him tools or something. The adopted daughter wants to smoke me an old fashioned. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll have that while I'm smoking brats on the smoker later. Glory, what's up, brother? Yeah, lost pretty much about everybody. But I think my neighbor jumped on first here. Grit and Grace jumped on first because, like, closer distance. I joke, but seriously, Grace, yeah, talking to wife, we're gonna have to get together with you, like down at Tall Pines or something. Get up, have a, and like Andrew was talking on his live last night about having the thing in Texas. It'd be very absolutely. It would be difficult for us to go down there. You think probably along the same lines. I heard you said you don't fly, you'd rather drive. I love flying. I mean, maybe it's the military in me. I love flying, but I'm a speed junkie and I love aircraft. So maybe that's why I want to fly. But with the world and how things are and stuff, like I'm terrestrial at this point. It'll probably take us like 3 days to get down there, 2-3 days. We're too much falling out of the sky lately with them Boeings. I've been keeping track of all that. Remember, one of my hobbies is tracking flights and all that stuff. Yeah, it's far more frequent, or say far more broadcast at this point than it was before. Yeah, just not a fan of that. But it'd be like 3 days to just drive down there, 2-3 days just to drive down there, 2-3 days to drive back. So there's like 4 to 6 days that you're just driving. It'd be very difficult for me and the wife to be able to take off, because if I'm not taking off and doing something unless it's like going to a training camp, anything like that, she would go with me because she loves doing that stuff. She would want to go with me, and for her to take off work, it's very difficult because she works in healthcare and she works with a little dude, and without her, the little dude's basically just stuck. So we have to work around their vacations and stuff like that with his family's vacations and stuff, which is cool. We don't mind at all. We love them dearly. So it is what it is. For me, with like PTO, one of my coworkers decided to put in his notice on Friday that his last day will be Wednesday. So there's only going to be 2 of us working out where I work. So it's going to be far more difficult in working time off schedules right now until the company decides they're going to hire a third person. So I'm kind of playing that by year two. If it's just me and her, we can fly, rent a car, do something, but um, it's working logistics on our end. With Megs and the cats, yeah, the daughters, the neighbors, the adopted kids did help out with stuff, no problem. But just working the job stuff, that's where the difficulty would be. So I was thinking, well, maybe if they're doing that down there, maybe we could do something for just a get together, meet and greet at a state park a day, something like that, whatever. Um, or not like I can't talk to Keith and Josh and Jake and those guys at Tall Pines and be like, hey man, thinking about maybe having like a bunch of people get them together here, blah blah blah. They'd probably be totally thrilled with that. So that's something I can talk to Josh about. We can figure that out. But I thought it would be cool because it's kind of like in between you and I both. It's not too awful far for like Pat to come down or anything like that. It's only like a couple hour drive for Pat. Um, and not like there's not plenty of lodging around and all that kind of stuff between your area and my area. Obviously, nothing in between, but Waynesboro, Tennessee, that would probably be about 14-ish hours. I will hit the Google machine to find out for certain, but let's see. If I'm just going to Waynesboro, Tennessee from here, okay, 10 hours, 709 miles. So it's a good haul. It's a good haul. It's like 10 and a half hours roughly to get to Waynesboro, Tennessee. I have a cousin that lives in Tennessee, which I love dearly. Yeah, 10 hours is a little jump. Um, when I moved back here to central western PA, when I moved from Washington, literally out where Kristen and Martin, those guys are, when I moved back here, it took me 4 days of 10-hour driving, me and my Great Dane. 10-hour days, 4 days of it to get back here. And I was like a 14-foot U-Haul, and I don't drive slow. So, yeah, we're back, ACR. Um, even though I'm hardlined, my internet connection completely dropped. So I'm going to have a verbal fist fight with Xfinity here in the not too distant future. Ooh, whitewater rafting. I have never done that. I've been on Swick boats. I've been on Zodiacs. I've been on all kinds of stuff like that. I've been on canoes and kayaks, but I've never done whitewater rafting. I'm not the. I can swim really good. My dad was a frogman and taught me how to swim and how to do all the frogman shit, but I just didn't like being underwater or all that. So it's one of those things. If like we went out in the pontoon last year, it was cool going around the lake. I was not going to get in the tube or nothing. No, I don't. Mm-mm. I'll stay dry. Comes to swimming pools, got to be a nice warm temp for me. I'm a fair water friend. I don't like cold water, just don't. Well, if I do get down into Tennessee, I don't remember the name of the town my cousin lives in. Um, but I do get down to Tennessee, I can give a holla. I can definitely give a holla. We Whenever I did do any floating or anything like that, um, we'd go and we'd float like from like Saxton down into like Bedford and stuff like that, down the Juniata River up here. Sometimes we can go down to the Castleman up here and float through. Um, Maybe like go out and float in the Yacht or like over at the Quemahoning or something like that. But like I don't get into that as much as I used to when I was younger. I'm just I'm just not the water guy anymore. Cheat River Fest. I need to learn more about that. Is that like Cheat River, like Cheat Lake, like over towards West Virginia? Okay. My my nephew used to live in around Cheat Lake, and like I got a buddy that lives down around Albright, so Morgantownish kind of area. Got a buddy that works down at the Fed Pen down there. Actually, I have a couple of buddies that work down at the Fed Pen. Yeah, I'll leave that to the professional water guy, the coastie. That's not my realm. I've done some waterborne stuff, and I just oh, say live in the same region. So, but no, I've done some waterborne stuff. I mean, even though I was land based and would come in by air and fast rope and stuff like that, I did some waterborne stuff, and I wasn't the biggest fan because like if y'all seen the movie American Sniper, if you read the book, you get more in the book than you do in the movie. And Chris Kyle talks about taking out these guys, these sandbox guys, coming across this river to come after their fob. And he set up on Overwatch. And basically what they did is they took like those big yoga ball type things and they would grab onto those and then try and kick their way across the river. It was slow flowing river, good for them, I guess. But they would try and kick across the river to get across so they didn't have to take the bridge because they figured they'd be watching the bridge. They could come in under nightfall and get across the river that way without taking a boat, which might draw more attention. Well, Chris did the easiest thing possible whenever he had to take them down. They're wearing freaking all kinds of stuff and have RPGs and belt feds and RPKs, whatever, and they're going across the water. All Chris did was pop the ball and the guy sunk. So I don't want to be wearing a bunch of stuff and having to go do something and be bloop. I don't want to bloop. Yeah, that sounds really cool. And just straight epic, Lori. I'd be down for something like that if I had the time. If I had the time. Um, I love doing cool stuff. I just hardly ever get the opportunities to do so. Work a 40 plus hour a week job, have the family, plus fixing everything else for myself and everybody else. Still trying to keep up with drums, still trying to keep up with my training, doing the YouTube, doing the podcast, plus still trying to have some type of life. It's a lot. So I'm the man that wears many hats, and even the cowl should I need. But no, one of these days, if I get a couple things taken off my plates, plus I'm still trying to take care of my parents' place, get that all done, and get that place sold off, so I don't have to worry about being a caretaker over there anymore. So that's a lot of work. I was just there yesterday doing some work and was talking with Andrew a little bit when I was getting done with that, and jumped on Twins Live as I was leaving. So sometimes if I jump onto a live, I don't get to talk because I'm busy doing other stuff. So you never know where metal's lurking. Yeah, I like taking rides. Something I used to be into a lot was mountain biking. I used to do a lot of mountain biking. Um, until my ex-wife sold my mountain bike. She sold all my military gear, sold my guitar. I had a beautiful candy apple fade um, Fender Strat. Not that I play guitar a lot, but I love that guitar. Um, yeah, she sold it while I was at work one day because she wanted money, extra money to go hair, nails, tanning, Botox, whatever. And I hadn't played my guitar in 2 weeks, so it didn't matter. I didn't need my military stuff anymore. So I had a book that I had a bunch of different stuff in from like my time when I was working with DoD and working with the Army, and it was like a keepsake book for me because when I got out, all I had was my dog tags, and that was it. Clothes on my back. Um, Long story short, like my keepsake chest, all that stuff. She just sold it while I was at work one day, and I don't know why somebody would want my keepsake stuff that was mine, all about me. It had pictures and stuff in and everything else. All went away. So I literally only have my dog tags from back then. I got my pants from when I was in DoD. I got my pants from that, at least. I wanted it to be different when I was doing the DoD stuff. So we had to wear like BDU pants and boots and all that stuff, whatever, when I was doing instructor stuff. But I wanted to be easily visible for any of the trainees to see me to get my attention. So I wore snow BDUs. So it was kind of neat. I still have that stuff. Feel like you had fun while simultaneously getting my head kicked in. I don't know. I gave up MMA years ago, man. I had a record 14-2, and I went out on a high. I had a first two fights were both losses because I was stupid. I wasn't doing basic stuff. Um, then the next 14 fights, I was just on a streak and I just kept rolling. I didn't want anything to go to the second round. It was knockout or submission in the first round. That's all there was to it. And I was focused on doing that. And I just drove on it and I did it. And I was going to get a title shot. And I'm like, nah, I'm done. I'm tired of spending like $3,000 a month just to do this shit. Mm-mm. Nope. Nope. Had no sponsors, had nothing. Was paying for my gym time, my trainer time, my nutrition, like everything. I was footing the bill for it. I'm like, nope, I'm done paying that. I got more important shit to worry about. So I got out of it. Demo man. Welcome, my dude. Loved going on a ride with you yesterday, man. It was cool just seeing the road, and because we were just getting poured on with rain. So I was like, hey, it's sunny, beautiful, clear blue skies, demos out riding a bike. Awesome. And jump on that and get a little bit of, serenity. So I know ACR was finishing up his workout right before it jumped on the live. Um, I know after all this is said and done and I get my stuff done, I'm going to try to get in something myself today. I don't know whether that's going to be working out in the Mukyeon Jong. I don't know if I'm going to do weight training. I don't know if I'm going to go on the bike. I don't know exactly what I'm going to get into, but I'm going to get into something because we actually have a pretty nice day here. It's not looking like rain, clear blue skies. My wife is going to get some stuff for me to smoke brats. Is a good day. Is a good day. Um, let's see. We're going to have a high of 59, currently 51. That's t-shirt weather right now in PA. Dude, you can't skip leg day, Jackson. Can't skip leg day. Honestly, you want a really killer day, get a heavy bag and work on kicks, man. Muay Thai kicks, roundhouses, straight push kicks, like Spartan kicks, side kicks, crescent kicks, all that stuff, dude. Oh my God. If you work Muay Thai legs, those workouts like I did when I was doing Muay Thai, dude, best damn leg workout you could imagine. Not like squatting and leg presses and no, that Muay Thai workout, another level. Another level. Can't walk the next day. There's tricks. There's tricks to it. When I was doing Muay Thai, we used to do stuff, condition our legs and our shins and stuff. Um, because Muay Thai bare shin against bare shin, and that sucks. That does suck. But kicking a heavy bag, you can get your shins conditioned to a degree. Then you can start doing what they call rolling your shins. If you've seen The Accountant, dude's sitting there with a freaking thing rolling on his shins like it's like, and he's punishing himself for something, whatever it was he was doing in his autistic mind. Um, we don't do that. Wrap a towel and roll with like a wooden rolling pin, nice and easy and gently on your shins, and your calves and your quads, and roll them out. Then, as you progress, then you can start going soft with just the wooden rolling pin. Um, then eventually you can get into like a granite rolling pin. That's what I finished off with, was a granite rolling pin. To help condition your legs. You don't do it hard and press into it. And no, you just go nice and light, nice and easy. And then you work it up and work it out and work it out. We had a liniment we used called Dit Da Jiao. Um, like the stuff is amazing. One of my students, we were talking about Muay Thai and we were covering Muay Thai at the time. And he went home and he grabbed his mom's freaking rolling pin and just started going to town, just getting in there trying to roll his shins. And like his mom called me that he couldn't even like get out of bed and walk. I'm like, okay, I'll be right over. Went over to his house. He's laying there. He's like, Sifu, this is like terrible. Like I did exactly the opposite of what you told me to do. I came home and I grabbed her wooden rolling pin and I just started going to town and I could barely walk. And I'm like, I got you. So I rubbed his legs down with the Dita Jiao liniment, and then I wrapped him in warm towels. And I said, lay there for a while. I'll be back. Give me like an hour or so. I got some errands to run. I'll come back. We'll take the towels off. We're going to ice them down. I'll put the liniment on again, and we're going to ice them down. And I said, we're going to do that back and forth all day today. So you're not going anywhere today. Sorry, dude. And I'll be in and out all day. And we kept doing that. And by the evening, he was actually able to walk again and it wasn't hurting. Dita Jiao is amazing liniment. If you have like muscle aches or stuff, it's like BioFreeze on steroids without the like BioFreezy cold hot. It smells fairly nasty, but it works really freaking good. But conditioning up like that kind of stuff, even we used to do it to our forearms and stuff. I got like really bony forearms and I got like scars and stuff here from teeth and all kinds of stuff and a burn here from hitting a freaking steam vent. And yeah, you can condition your body up for like hardcore stuff, like in iron kung fu training and our hands and stuff like that. We would take sand and dive our hands into sand like repeatedly. Punch sand, elbow sand. I mean, we used to do all that kind of stuff, and then using like Makiwara boards and stuff like that for conditioning up. In the iron hand training, we had like techniques we would do for conditioning up that stuff. And my instructor, Kung Fu, he could literally take a 2x4 and just drive his freaking hand, like, guys punching them and guys chopping them and stuff. He would literally take his fingers like this and just go straight through the freaking 2x4 and just destroy it, turn it into splinters. If I hadn't seen it firsthand, like in front of my face, I would have never believed it. And my brother, he had his camcorder, VHS recorder, or handy cam, palm cam, whatever you want to call it back in the day. He had that thing and he got it on video. I'm like, ugh. We watched that several times over. Like, how did he do that? That was so cool. And then after we started doing it for a few years, we started getting better with it. We could do that kind of stuff, but it not to the level he could. He could just like turn everything to splinters. We could just like break it. But it does take its toll on your joints. It does toughen up your joints, but it does take its toll on them. you do end up getting calcification on your knuckles and joints and your fingers and stuff like that. When I was doing drunken fist kung fu, we would do push-ups on the back of our wrists like this, like the floor is here. We started out doing it on mats, then we would take and do it on regular like hardwood floor, and it hurts so bad. Then we started getting to the point where like, okay, you can take like concrete and pavement and stuff like that. And I got to the point where I was doing it, and I have a couple little tiny scars here from doing it on gravel. Um, Same guy that rolled his shins, I was telling him about doing push-ups like that, the drunken fist push-ups, and he's like, "Oh, come on, there's no way that can't be that bad." And he started doing it in the grass, and I was doing it in the gravel, and he's like, "Oh, that's not that bad." Well, the ground was soft; it was soft grass, and still a little damp from holding moisture. So he's doing it. I'm like, "Hey, you can try it on like wood or something. I mean, there's railroad ties right here." He's like, "No, man, I want to do what you're doing." And he jumped into the gravel and he couldn't get one. Like it was just like piercing into his skin and stuff. He wasn't conditioned up for it. But in drunken fist, we use the back of the wrist here to strike soft tissue, or like catch it right along the edge here and stuff like that, side of the temple, behind the ear, side of the neck, sternum, stuff like that. But yeah, just what Jackson said, train the mind, build the mind, and the body will follow. But doing those kicks, um, kicking the heavy bag, doing the front kicks, doing those kind of things, my legs would just be like, pot out from doing that stuff. I still would do, bike. I'd still do different stuff, leg presses and all that kind of stuff, and curls with my legs forward and backward. But kicking the bag, I got more out of that. Using proper technique, kicking that bag. Oh, I miss doing it. I have like a 200 some pound heavy bag out there. I just have to reinforce structure so I can mount it up. But I would love to be able to start doing that stuff again. Get myself one of the speed bags and get it set up, get back into doing that. Really love doing that. Really love doing the knife training. Um, Give me 1 second here. So I have talked about the training before. ACR has his red gun. I have my orange gun. Yeah, I wrote Glock. Ha ha. I have the orange training. It's just an orange rubber training piece. Having one of these is great because you can practice your draws, your grips, disarms. You can practice a ton of different stuff with these. You can also practice a ton of stuff with the rubber training blades. As you see, I put a silver line or gold line down the edge to simulate a single edge. Even though it's a dagger, I can, in my mind, show it as a single edge for training. Okay. Having these kind of things and working that kind of stuff really loosens up your joints. It gives you the hand-eye coordination. It gives you a lot of stuff you wouldn't have otherwise with protection, with defense. I don't have to have a knife. If I have a pen, if I have empty hands, I can still do stuff. So training in that kind of stuff is awesome. Awesome. So if you have any type of knife fighting, stick fighting, especially stick fighting, because you can take Kali and Arnis and a Screma and things like that and turn it into an empty hand form. Replace the stick with a knife, same kind of stuff applies. You can use knife form, stick form, empty hand form. Kalia, Screma, Arnis, those are great systems to study if you have them available in your area. Also, Wing Chun and Jeet Kune Do. Wing Chun Kung Fu and Jeet Kune Do, which was the Bruce Lee pioneered, or even Jeet Kune Do concepts. They're great systems to study in martial arts to get into that kind of stuff. because a lot of it you build on the basics, simple things. I do in the worst way want to do a video with the knife stuff. I don't see anybody in the preparedness Minuteman community doing anything with bladed weapons. If you're up close and personal, a gun can be taken from you and used on you. Yeah, these can be taken, used on you too. But if I have the handle in my hand, what do they have to grab other than my hand, which I can cut them, or grab the blade, which I can cut them? So if they try to grab my hand, I can pull back and they're cut. So there's a lot you can do with blades that people don't talk about, and I love my blades. I was talking earlier on Twins Live a little bit about how I got my name Metal. Captain saw me do something. He's like, "That's about the most metal fucking thing I've ever seen." So from that day forth, they just called me Metal. It was because of a blade. So blades are your friend. Blades are your friend. Even if you don't have the blade, you can improvise. A pair of scissors, a garden shears. Yeah, thank you. It is a badass nickname, and I'm glad I got it. But as I sit here, I have a pair of these. Well, I can use these much the same as I would one of those. I mean, break it, and I have two blades. Wielding the garden shears, I mean, you have a ton of different options with tools. You can get trainer blades that are the metal blanks, that they are not sharpened, still have the feel of like a regular fixed blade knife. Those are great aids. These rubber knives are great aids. They weigh nothing. They cost like less than $10. Blades are an important part of preparedness and defense. Why do I have all the blades I do? Because I've been in situations where I've had to use the blades versus a pistol or versus a rifle. Because when it gets up close and personal, these guys are your friend. These guys are your friend. You don't have to reload a blade. Simply put, you don't have to reload a blade. You can just do what you need to do. But you got to take care of these things. You have to respect them, and you have to learn them, and you have to have them learn you, just like you have to spend your time doing your reps with your rifles and your pistols and your shotguns and all that stuff. You have to do your reps with these guys too. You have to respect them, and you have to give them the time and the effort, because you can't just pick up a blade. Yeah, you can sink it and do stuff, but you're going to be so much more effective if you spend the time with it. And let me tell you, it's not like the movies, dancing around. That's crap. As soon as that blade comes out, you need to be finding it at home. If you're having to draw the blade, that's life or death, and you need to have it find a home right away. No dancing around. Robert, welcome, my dude. So yes, blades, when they're out of the sheath, they need another home. Help them find a home. They're cold and lonely. They need to find a home. Played the Sarah McLachlan in the Arms of the Angels for knives. So as I sit here sipping my apple juice, and the Pina Colada Celsius, the Playa Vibe. Are you too good for your home? But yes, the blades need to find a home when they come out of the sheath. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do the blade videos. I think I might get into the blade videos by doing basic hand-to-hand Jeet Kune Do, trapping video. Yes, Robert. Does not go back in the sheath until it draws blood. If it's a combat blade, if it's a bushcraft blade, and you're trying to, like, make something, yeah, you don't want those to draw blood. You don't want your tool for making things to draw blood, because that means you cut yourself and you're going to need to get into your boo-boo kit. But your combat blade, treat it, fashion yourself like a samurai to be able to do what you need to do, clean it, put it back. John E. Depth needs to find a home for when he pulls his blade out too. John E. Depth carries a pork sword. Yeah. And he likes to take his victims to the stabbing cabin. Orange Celsius. I haven't had the orange. My wife got me into the pina coladas. As I said before, I drink whiskey and bourbon and all the cool shit, but pina coladas are like my guilty pleasure. So, touche. Johnny Depp with his pork sword at the stabbing cabin. I see my boy Medic up. He just posted a short. He must be a training exercise or something. He does a lot of cool videos. Like, he was showing a Medivac yesterday on a Blackhawk. Today he's got one using a 9-line. I'm like, fucking awesome. Cool shit. Johnny, come back for a new movie. Three-inch Punisher, still a Punisher. John E. Depth, probably. Hung like a pack of bologna. 1.5 inches long and 4 inches wide. I'll give you 14 feet. Yeah, how are you going to do that? 6 inches multiple times. Be a short film. 15-second reel. Yep, it's a reel. Talk about a YouTube short. The thumb makes its emergence. Oh, you're a Ranger, Robert. Right on, man. Hooah. My captain came from the 82nd. So I wasn't a Ranger, I wasn't in the Rangers, but I had a lot of influence from the Ranger battalion because my captain came from the Rangers. He was a hell of a good man. Hell of a good man. Worked with him when I was in military, but then years gone by, we ended up getting hired at the same job at the same time, which was really cool. We were both in orientation together. As soon as I walked in and I saw him, like, I'm at attention and I'm saluting him. He's like, "You don't have to do that anymore, son." He was actually the guy that gave me the metal nickname. He's like, "You ain't got to do that anymore." And like, for some reason, our boss always paired us up together to go do stuff, which was totally awesome. And I loved it because every day I got to work with the captain. It was freaking cool. So, yeah, I got a lot of Ranger influence in my life from him, and so a lot of my mentors and friends. I got a lot of influence from Frogmen, just because, like, my dad is a Frogman. One of my more recent mentors in my life goes by the moniker Sawman. Sometimes I wear in his shirts for Tactical Insider and Sawman. An amazing dude. Heck of a good drummer too. One of my favorite drummers. Yeah, he was a big influence in me getting out of some stuff I started getting into years ago and clean myself up and go on the straight and narrow and get away from the stupidity in younger life. So yeah, I lean into the frogman and the Rangers a lot. A few Green Berets along the way, but that's where I get a lot of my influence. Stuck in Johnny. That's cool shit. John E. Depth. Chris is in listening mode and using talk to text to be safe. Because those wasps will get you. She knows what I mean. Those wasps will get you. Yeah, talk about your nickname. Come on. Come on, Jackson. What's that nickname? Gotta hear that nickname, Jackson. Timmer! Timmer!
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Timmer! Hey, it could be worse. It could be worse. One of my good buddies, Hackett, he got the nickname from his squad, his squad leaders and everybody. Now he's a sarge, so they don't flip him as much crap. But yeah, he got Goose. They started calling him Goose because he has the mustache. So several nicknames, none are great. Hey, I mean, my family and close family, they call me Nelly. I mean, it's something I've had since I was a kid, but they call me Nelly. And one of my when I worked with AT&T, my store manager, she knew me from way back. I've known her since she was a little girl, and she knew me as that. So she got everybody calling me that at the store. So I had a name tag that said Nelly on it, and I was Nelly before Nelly the rapper was Nelly. So definitely a topic for another live and probably some more lead slinger, I'm guessing. On the verge of Johnny. On the verge of Johnny to get some of those out, I'm sure. Getting hot in her. Yeah. Yeah, I had a lot of those things thrown at me over the years with the Nelly. It hot in her. You speaking that country, Grandma Nelly? Nah. I speak dumbass. Demo man. Take care, brother. Be safe. Stay blessed, man. Yeah, campfire stories, man. Some of those campfire stories. Ooh. Oof. You ACR was talking about his commanding officer whenever he got back to base and stuff like that. I had one yeah. How do I want to go about it? How do I want to go about this? Similar kind of principle and everything, except I was out with the boys and we hit a bar, a fairly well-known bar down at Vietnam. And there was this thing I used to do with they called the gauntlet, where you drink down the bar, the length of the bar, doing drinks the whole way down the bar. Um, I got called upon to do the gauntlet that night because we had a Marine come into an Army bar. And I did the gauntlet after drinking copious amounts of beer and other various alcohols. And I got put up to do the gauntlet. I didn't care. I just did it. I don't do condiments. Like, you could have hot sauce in one, you could have ketchup in one, you could have water, you could have Pepsi, you could have tea, you could have coffee, you could have milk, you could have the strongest stuff they have, you could have beer in it. I mean, any type of liquid that they could put. Obviously, nothing nasty like somebody peeing in it, or like they put pickle juice in them, but like nobody peed or did anything nasty in them like that. But like it was all like actual like consumable stuff that's not going to like destroy you or make you very sick. But guys would get sick off the gauntlet. Like, so anytime there would be a gauntlet thrown down, a lot of times your boy would be the one to drink the gauntlet. And we had a Marine come into the bar, and for them to drink in our bar, they had to do the gauntlet. Well, they had to pick somebody to run the gauntlet with, whoever. And this night I was your guy. So I ran the gauntlet and I destroyed the dude. He didn't make it down the bar halfway. And I got all the way to the end and was done, and getting the medals thrown up everywhere. And Marine was escorted out. He could not drink at our bar that night. Well, thankfully it was my buddy Captain. I was reporting to him, and he's like, "Oh, you look pretty rough, man." I'm like, "Yeah, I had to do the gauntlet." He's like, "I know, I heard." I was like, "You heard already?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You smoked him." He's like, "Go home, take the day off. You're good." He's like, "I'm just gonna say that you were excused. You had an excused reason. You had an appointment." I'm like, okay, cool. So I laid in it all day. I was hurting so bad. Oh my god. One of my buddy's girlfriends, she was a nurse and came over and got me on an IV and stuff. I just laid in it all day. I think I was like watching like Transformers or GI Joe or something all day long. Like, I hurt so bad. Yeah, the coin challenge. Yeah, we had that, but and I don't in that chest. My coins went bye bye. Um, I've gotten some new coins along the way, but none from my specific time, which really pisses me off. But that's neither here nor there. It was another lifetime ago. But yeah, that was rough, Grace. It was terrible, terrible. I think that was the last time I did the gauntlet, because it was like about a month after that I had gone and joined up and done the DoD thing. So yeah, that was rough. I was only allowed back in that bar DoD because I was Army. So I went back there like two or three more times, and I haven't been back since. Obviously, living here in PA now, I'm not down in North Carolina anymore. But yeah, that was a different life and a different time, and I'm better now today because of all that stuff in my past. So here's to that. Uh, so you guys digging the new mic setup? Is that working? Is that working well? I know we said it sounds good, but I'm like really like nervous because this is the same setup I'm using for my podcast. So I want to make sure everything is beautiful. Awesome. Awesome. Um, and I also switched computers. I'm no longer using the old Dell that's close to my heart. I switched over to my custom camo laptop. So I threw a blanket. If anybody in the replay crew sees me up fiddling with something, I put a blanket over the fluorescent light because I wanted to filter it out so that way I'm not getting drowned and whited out. So that little thing you see sticking down right in here, yeah, that's a blanket. That's Tacticat's blanket. I always have a chair over here that she jumps up on the blanket and lays there, and I pet her and stuff if she's not up on the chair behind me. Um, yeah, I took her blanket and I put it up over the light to kind of diffuse it. I'm going to get a different insert for it that kind of diffuses it a bit. Same with over the drums. I'm going to get a diffuser to put up over that. So that way it's not quite so freaking bright in here. And I'm thinking I'm probably going to do that whenever I redo my emergency 12-volt lighting in here. Y'all can see like up over my head. Like I have a hard time with the reversal thing, but like right here, that little thing right there, it's hooked up to a 6-volt battery. So I have emergency lighting in here. I'm redoing that setup in here, putting a light switch on the wall. Electrician, we will electric. Putting actual 12-volt lighting in here with a car battery and a trickle charger. So that way I can keep it topped off. So that way if SH does TF, I do have better emergency lighting in here to get to my gear and stuff to be able to go do the things. Because in this room, it's not like I can open a window or open blinds or something like that. I don't have any natural light come in here because I am completely underground. Literally, I call it the cave because it is a cave. I'm completely underground here. So I got to have some kind of light to be able to see to get the things. So I'm going to be redoing all that. It's going to be a process, but such is life. I want it, and it's going to happen. Best coin you got was from Congressman Derek Van Orden. I have not met any political guys to like mix it up with them enough for them to hand me a coin. Here in my state, we have Doug Mastriano. I have personally met him, shook his hand, got to talk with him a bit, but it was in a pouring down rainstorm, and I'm wearing a poncho, and everything's beating off my poncho. We didn't have the best conversation because of the elements. But he was here in my county at our courthouse during like the Stop the Steal stuff back in 20. Because we had a lot of, shall I say, fuckery go on in Pennsylvania. He was talking to the local people about all that kind of stuff. Pouring down rain. They had little stands for the American flag and the state flag, and they kept blowing over. Well, me and another older gentleman went over and grabbed the two flags. He grabbed the American flag, and I grabbed the Pennsylvania state flag, and I sat there in the pouring down rain while Doug Mastriano was talking, holding the Pennsylvania state flag, keeping it upright as the gentleman next to me was holding up the stars and bars. And we sat there just getting pummeled by rainstorm, whatever. It didn't matter, whatever. Well, Doug is close with a close personal friend of ours. And she was like, well, he was RB2 and so on and so forth. He's like, I could tell, how he just jumped up to keep the flag up. But no, we sat there and we held it, just getting pummeled by the rain the whole time, the wind, whatever. We didn't care. After it was all over, we could put him back in the stands and go rejoin the crowd or whatever. And Doug came up and shook my hand, and he and I talked for a while. But I'd like to actually be able to sit down and actually have like a campfire conversation with him. Talk about Army times and all that kind of stuff, and talk about like other things that's going on or has gone on. But yeah, that's the only like political figure I've really been in the presence of. But Doug wasn't kicking out the challenge coins at that point. I have had interaction with others in our state, but not really close. I mean, one guy is one of the directors for GOA. He's very close with Doug, was also his not campaign. It was his like, I'm trying to remember what he was. He was like a director for Doug. He lives the next county over. He and I have talked several times over. He was going to have me head up a security team for an event that Doug was going to have in his county. But Doug's campaign got involved, and they wanted to head security. They did not want outside security. So it was what it was. Best coin, 75th Regiment. 12th Special Forces Group, 1st Special Forces Group, 5th SF. That's awesome. That's some cool dudes right there, let me tell you. 75th, I know those guys pretty well. That's where my captain actually came from, was 75th, and he ended up taking over a group in 82nd. I've done a lot of training as an instructor for 75th out of Pendleton. Yeah, cool times, man. Some good dudes there, some seriously good dudes in 75th. One of my very close friends was 3ID, and he's got some stories. Last time I literally got drunk and like kerschmackled was hanging with Scout. Yeah, we were up like he had me at the point I'm up calling cadence and shit like that. It was bad, dude. Oh my god, I was so freaking spent. I was beyond plastified. Like I hit the point of actually being kerschmackled. It was bad. But his dad got it worse. His dad lives like 200 yards from him, and we were sitting there smoking all these like weird cigars and all this stuff, and just drinking Seagram 7 and Pepsi, and it was like less Pepsi and more Seagrams, and we like kicked like 2 handles for his wedding. Like we like, oh, it was bad. It was bad. Next day, like I'm hating life. I couldn't make myself puke and purge, and yeah, it reminded me of times gone by. But he's like, dude, you should have got an IV, dude. He's like, my wife, his wife now, is like, oh, she had IV. She set me up an IV. I just kicked back in the chair and I was watching Yellowstone and chilling. And, you know, I'm like, yeah, she used the last one on you because my wife is friends with her and my wife was talking to her about us. And like, yeah, he's just on seventh heaven, living life, happy as can be. And I'm there hating every minute of it. It was terrible. But I punched in at 07 on, no, I punched in at 05 at work and got to doing the things. Because, you know, you got to ranger up and embrace the suck, right? It's what we do. It's what we do. It was like a few hours before we got completely freaking enamored. We were out riding around on the side by side and tearing through the fields. This is where we have the training camp up at his place. And yeah, we're out riding around on the side by side, and we just like pop out of these like weeds into this field, and there's like 30 freaking deer right there. And he's like, shit. Hangs a hard left to keep from hitting deer. I'm like, dude, I got my pistol. I can fucking take down a couple deer. We can. He's like, no, man. He's like, I'm saving the permits because they have a massive freaking farm up on the mountain. Saving the permits for whenever it gets closer to deer season to actually harvest with permits, because then you can justify it because you have crops up and deer pest control. So I'm like, no, dude, it's cool. It's cool. He's like, I got some of the freezer. We can blah, blah. I'm like, no, forget it. We'll just go back and chew on some freaking stupid hot dogs. Break out your back straps, dummy. Oh, you ain't lying. You ain't lying, Robert. You ain't lying, brother. Oh, that brings back so many memories. Oh. I'm making light and I'm joking about this. Tongue in cheek, right? A lot of my buddies, we talk about PTSD and stuff because we all have different forms and so on and so forth from different things. It's real. It's real and it's no joke from the bad stuff. But I'm here to tell you there is another level of PTSD that nobody really talks about that comes from those kind of nights. It's not talked about, but we have PTSDs from those kind of nights. Like ACR talking about his ordeal with the sand and on the beach and everything with the unnamed whoever she was. Wouldn't it have been freaking just the universe karma and everything if that was actually like commanding officer's like niece or something like that? Like I've often wondered like who was she? I don't even know. Like, what the hell? But like, we don't talk about it unless we're talking about it with vet bros. There's like that PTSD from those kind of nights and days and weekends. Yeah, there is that, and that's a real thing. That is a real thing. Oh my god. Yeah. I laugh, but it's true. It's true. Parked waiting for the rest of the caravan. Yeah. Oh my word. Yeah, we had drunken dodgeball one time. Right. Right. Oh, so do I, bearded. So do I. It's real, Jackson. My first wife, my second wife, exes. I come to find out here this past month that one of my exes, my ex girlfriends, she passed away. It was like she and I were no longer together because she discovered what the white powder booger sugar was. Yeah, she discovered what that was, and I was like, yeah, no bueno. I'm done. Done. I'm out of here. Well, my brother and one of my best friends, we were like, he they brought up that she had passed. May she rest in peace. But yeah, we all were like, "What'd she OD?" Like, no, she had an aneurysm because she had high blood pressure. I'm like, I wonder why she had high blood pressure. But she had high blood pressure and it went untreated, so she had an aneurysm. I'm not speaking ill of her. I'm just saying what happened. I mean, we had some great times, but when she got involved with that stuff, I was out. I was no bueno. No, not for me. I'm not dealing with that because like other things in my life, different people had gone down that path, and no, Jackson, my dude, I'm reading your comment, and I'm like, brother. Yeah, they're insane, dude. They're insane, bro. Like, wow. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day, my friend. But like, yeah, like we me and my ex girlfriend, we had our good times and so on and so forth, and like everything. But like, yeah, it was just insane that me and my brother, whenever my best friend was telling us about it, because my best friend's ex wife was best friends with her, and like he was telling us about it, and I'm like, me and my brother look at each other, we're like, was she OD? No, 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 she blood pressure. It's insane. It's insane. But no, I steered clear from that life. I never got into any of that. I drank alcohol, beer. I smoke cigarettes. I smoke cigars. Obviously, I chew. I tried the green lettuce one time and found out it did not work with me because I got blisters in my mouth and in my throat, and I felt like I wanted to die because I couldn't breathe right. I'm like, okay, maybe it was a fluke or something. I tried it again and no bueno, does not work for me. I cannot even do so much as like a CBD oil or anything for like pain cream or something. Does not work. I cannot do it. So I steer clear of it. Um, one of our daughters has the pen and she does not do it around me, steers clear from me. I was at a party somewhere and I caught a whiff of that skunk and I was like, oh, I gotta go. And friends that were there like, oh shit, we are so sorry, we totally forgot. We're gonna go, we are so sorry. So they went out in the woods, way out, downwind. So yeah, I don't get into any of that. So I've taken enough ibuprofen in my life to destroy a small country, but my homies will be like, damn, I was. Nah, no, you don't. No, you don't. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, and I mean for those that can use that, green solution, I'm all for it for you guys. Like, I'm all about that. But I can't personally do it. And I'm like, I can't. I won't go to the other things. I'm just afraid, like the pens and stuff. I'm afraid to do that because of my reaction with like the CBD cream. Like, I immediately had like boils and blisters whenever like I put it. My wife got it for me and was like, "Hey, try this. Maybe this will help your knees," because of fast roping and all that crap, and being an electrician and up and down ladders and everything. And I'm like, okay, I'm willing to try it because my knees and ankles are just like, no. So I tried it, and immediately like my skin started to like blister and get boils, and it just started hurting so bad. I had to like wash it off, and like it was not good. So for you folks that can do it, please, like, by all means, I am glad you have that. So you don't get into the pharma crap. I started actually using like cinnamon oil and stuff like that, and it started helping tremendously. Now to the point like I hardly ever have to wear my knee braces. I had double knee braces like Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I don't have to use those anymore, thankfully. I hear you, Robert. I had an ex one time left me to go back to her ex that like abused the living crap out of her. And I'm like, go to it. Be glad. You're getting what you want, apparently. I was like, all right, moving on. Well, she was actually really close to my mom, and her mom and my mom still talked, and she still talked to my mom and stuff. And like a few months after she left to go back to her ex, um, yeah, she was like, that was like the worst mistake I ever made. He'd never take me back. And I literally was like, bye, Felicia, like what Grace said. I was like, nope, sorry, sorry. But where I'm at right now, Mrs. Metal is amazing, and I love her very, very much. I wish that like what's really weird about me and my wife is we had intersected like several times in our lives but never met. Like, she used to camp where I camped, where our nephew is a ranger now. And so we like passed by each other several times over in different band competitions and stuff. She was involved with marching band. I was a drummer in marching band. Like, we were at the same competitions and stuff, and we never met. And then randomly on stupid the interwebs, we ended up meeting. And the more we got to know each other and stuff, we had so many times that we like intersected. We were in the same place at the same time, but never, yeah, what Grace said, all in timing. But it's crazy. But she is like my heart's desire, and I'm all Twitter pated and stuff, guys. It's fantastic. Johnny Depp uses baby oil. I'm not surprised. He got it from Diddy, didn't he? Yep. I went back with an ex one time, and it was exactly that. Nope. Excuse me. Uh huh. That's how it always goes, Jackson. That's how it always goes, brother. They always want back. You know, we always want what we can't have, and when we do have it, we throw it away. That's just how it is. Yeah, Krista. Like, stuff's no joke. Like, I hate that crap. Truly, truly a blessing. Truly a blessing, Jackson. No, Johnny's not mixed up in the Diddy crowd, but he uses baby oil like Diddy did. And how many dudes did Diddy diddle when Diddy was diddling dudes? Tell me that isn't a tongue twister. John E. Depth is the most interesting man in the world. Not the Dos Equis guy. John E. Depth. He is a man of class. He's all suave and debonair. Why? I have Magnus hairs on my freaking energy drink. I'm like picking off gooey bear hairs. Today is his birthday. So he got his toy the other day. He got a stuffed beaver for his birthday. We gave it to him early because he's such a good boy. And then today he got a bath and he got brushed out and he's looking all handsome and such, and his beard's flowing in the wind when he was outside. So today he gets to have a Twinkie. He gets a Twinkie for his birthday cake. And we'll stick a candle in it and he'll blow it out. he's a great I knew it was going to happen. I didn't know if it was going to be ACR, but Jackson did it. He likes stuffing beavers, but I bet you like having your beavers stuffed that are shaped. But yeah, Mags is getting his birthday Twinkie today. So whenever we brushed him out and then we went in and we gave him a good bath and everything else and got him all cleaned up and stuff and took him back out, dried him off and everything. She took him in the bedroom or back into our master bath and with blow dryer and stuff and got him all combed out nice. And then we ended up having to brush him again because of the retriever undercoat. And yeah, he's all handsome and stuff today. He hasn't got his cool guy multicam collar put back on yet, but see, he doesn't like baths, but like we got him into the tub and I stood there and I held my hands like this and he put his hand in my head, or his head in my hands, and just let me like scratch him and talk to him and stuff while she was washing him. And he did pretty good today. So a water dog that doesn't really care for water. Go figure. Yeah, Jackson was on like bow right now with that. Yeah, no matter how much you brush them, they're still going to shed. I mean, the cats are the same way. You brush the living daylights out of them, they still shed. We've come to the term, I mean, we have the 5 cats. We've come to the term whenever our middle daughter leaves, she's taken her cat with her. Then we're down to 4. Nova, Charmy, Peach, and Obi-Wan. Well, Obi-Wan's older and Nova's older. Noveski's older. So whenever Nova and Obi do end up passing, we're not going to replace them with another cat. 5 was way too much for us, but we had Alice, my middle daughter's cat. She was may she rest in peace. She was a great cat. And she was kind of lonely just being the only cat. So we ended up getting Obi-Wan for our youngest daughter. Well, Obi-Wan is an amazing cat. He is so cool. He's muy good boy. Then Nova came to visit out at our old house, and she immediately bonded with me. Noveski bonded with me, and I love that cat. She is so cool. Well, we took care of her and let her back out, brought her back in, so on. Well, she came bringing gifts, hence Peach and Charmy, the tactic cat. So Nova and Charmy are my cat. Peach is my wife's cat. And so we have Peach, Nova, Noveski, Charmy, the tactic cat, and Obi-Wan. And we have my middle daughter's cat, Piper, the crack pipe. We think she has like Kitty Downs or something. She's like really weird. But yeah, whenever these cats move on, we'll have like 1 and we'll be good with that. I don't like having so many cats because I'm the guy that does all the litter and all the stuff. So it'd be nice when I have like 1 litter box to worry about rather than like multiples. John E. likes a kayak. He can get into narrower ports and track down the more elusive beavers. Yeah. Bet Johnny Depp chases down some mud ducks too. Special bait to Crown Apple, aka the hooker bush. So it has to be Henny. Henny whiz. Haters gonna hate and ain'ters gonna ain't. But now I hope y'all have a great day, great morning, afternoon, whatever time zone y'all's in. No Moss. My youngest, she loved my Great Dane. She loved Siren. Siren was an exceptional dog. She was literally like my daughter. She was my little girl. And she was born deaf. So we had the sign language we did with her. And we got Magnus before she died. So he learned some of her traits and stuff. So he's like a Great Dane / retriever, even though he's a retriever. He does Great Dane stuff because of her. My youngest wants us to get another Dane. And that'd be very difficult for me because Danes don't live that long generally. Siren was a fluke that she lived to be 14. Only because like she was very well taken care of, and for the last couple of years she was basically like a house lump, couch lump. But she was an amazing girl. Loved her so very much. But it'd be very hard for me to get another Dane. So no, I was saying hoping everybody has a great morning and day, evening, afternoon. Getting ready to kind of wind things down here a little bit. But I know he's got to get some stuff done. I'm sure you guys got to get some stuff done. I'm going to have to get some stuff done, unfortunately. I just want to like crash in Fort living room and just like watch like Daredevil Reborn or something. Like I started watching Transformers Rise of the Beast yesterday afternoon, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to get anything done. So I turned it off and I got back to writing the episode of the podcast. But yeah, you got meal prep, Grace. I have brats to smoke and things like that, and got to get my workout in too, because I've been meaning to do it and I haven't done it like a good metal. So I'm going to do it. Oh, hella noise. Ugh. Ugh. No thanks. I like Skyline chili. That's about it. Like, give me Skyline chili. I don't need anything else. Like, forget Illinois. Like Skyline chili. Bring it here. Bring it here, so I can put it inside of me, and I will be happy. Forget Illinois. We have a friend lives out there, but like Jenny's cool and all, but like get her out of Illinois and her family out of Illinois, and like forget the place. Yeah, I've been meaning to spend some more times with the drums, being to spend more time doing things and getting my beast back on, but I haven't done it because I've been sidetracked with all kinds of other mechanical and this and that and fix this and fix that. And so I need to get to that stuff. But anyway, I will wrap this up so you guys can get to your stuff. I can get to my stuff. And join us back here Wednesday for that Whiskey Wednesday. We're going to talk about all things water. Water, the way of water. Be like water. The softest substance on the planet, but it can penetrate rock. You put it in a teacup, it becomes the teacup. You put it in a pot, it becomes the pot. Be like water, my friends. So we're going to discuss water on Whiskey Wednesday. And we got another special Whiskey Wednesday coming up with another special guest. You guys aren't going to want to miss the following week. So we'll be getting that set up for then. But this coming week, it will be about water. The following one is going to be about something else. You're fired. Gatorade. Gatorade. Anyway, you guys be safe. Stay blessed. Do something to improve yourself or to help someone else improve themselves. Walk in the word, walk in the faith. You know, eyes forward, mission forward. You know, as Twin says, always forward. You know, That's the way it is, man. Always forward. So y'all have a great day. Stay blessed. Till next time, guys. Metal out.